Hi, how's it going today? Sunday on Memorial Day weekend. And it's just kind of a relaxed day today, getting a few things done. I wanted to give a little share today about being scared, about what fear has done and does do to us, how it drives us further into some of the systems that we might just kind of assume or take for granted. I hope that you are watching this. There's so many people that are invested in many of these systems, and I want to just use this share of running into this person at Whole Foods Market in Duluth yesterday. I had been shopping and I came out and I was waiting for someone, so I had little Pablo, the Chihuahua, and we were kind of sitting on the little flower bed area in front of the store. And a lady about my age, probably 50s or 60s, was walking up to go into the store. And she said, hey, he's so cute. Can I pet him? And I said, well, sure. And she said, well, I just put alcohol on my hands. And she goes, well, not alcohol. She goes, I mean, hand sanitizer, because she kind of struggled for the word. And I said, oh, sure, you can pet him, but, why would you put that on your hands? And she said, well, germs. She goes, I'm really scared of germs. I thought to myself, oh, okay, it's a little different reality than mine, coming from dog parks. And I certainly wash my hands many times a day, but I don't apply the hand sanitizers 99.9% of the time. If I'm going to eat food and I've been out really touching a lot of things, I can wash my hands most of the time before I do that. So as we were, sharing a little further, and she was petting Pablo, and she answered the question, and she said, well, I'm afraid of germs. And I said, well, what kind of germs? I mean, what makes you afraid of these germs? And she said, well, people go to the bathroom and stuff in the Whole Foods, and they don't always wipe, and then they touch the doorknobs and they touch things, and I don't want to get sick. I said, oh, okay, all right, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not judging her. I'm not saying, she's crazy, or, wow, that's extreme. Or I also didn't slap a psychological label on her like, she's obsessive compulsive disorder. A medicine person looks at this in a very different way, in a very unique way. It's a way that necessarily is evocative of compassion, and it doesn't just deduce things down to one diagnosis code or one quick overlay about her culture, her paradigm, her reality. Instead, what I did was I massaged through so that I could understand why she thought that way. I said, well, you get a chance to wash your hands many times throughout the day. Maybe you don't necessarily have to put a hand sanitizer on that contains alcohol and other chemicals inside of it to protect yourself. And maybe the risks might outweigh any potential benefits you'd receive on the germ issue, as opposed to putting the alcohol and these chemicals on your skin, your integumentary system. So she said, that's a really good point. So as we were, sharing a little further, and she was enjoying spending some time with Pablo, I was enjoying spending some time out in the sun. I mean, wow, we're almost into June, and it's been a long winter, and I was feeling really blessed to have the sunshine, to be sitting outside, and also to have the luxury to have been inside Whole Foods and picked up some great, fresh food. And so, she said, well, has he had all the shots, and asked me questions. And I said, well, I really don't do some of the shots, vaccinations, immunizations that a lot of people do. And she said, well, I usually do some of those things. And I said, well, do you do, flu shots, pneumonia shots, shingles shots? And she said, well, I'm definitely afraid of getting sick. I don't want to get sick. And so, I get the flu shot, and I get, the shots I'm supposed to get. And I said, well, what if for just a moment, because we talked a little more, but I'm breaking this down here a little more succinctly for you in the video. What if perhaps colds and flus and allergies and sinus conditions are really what I learned in herbal school, because I always want to give credit where credit's due. What if those are really cleansing opportunities? What if we change the paradigm out of being struck with something and being afraid of when this random event might occur, and instead we consider that it's an opportunity that our immune system is doing what it's supposed to do, and it's cleansing itself. And that is how I view medicine, the house that is medicine that I build for my clients, which is a collection of 32 years of different modalities and schools of thinking and books. And I have merged them into the way of the medicine woman, which means first, do no harm, the Hippocratic Oath, right? Second, I consider that your body always will seek homeostasis. Your body will always seek to reset itself. So all of the jargon that you receive about your autoimmune system attacking itself, how you need this help to immunize yourself, is false. It's fallacious. It's erroneous thinking. And it leads to what I was witnessing compassionately, which I would label thinking errors. Because now that these errors have been in the field for so long, now that people have been well trained to see this as dog food, and this is how they get sick, and this is how they check if they're okay, and this is how they get scanned. But we always used to scan using our far eye, the eye that's inside your glandular system. The glandular system that was on a lean plant-fed body. Because just like if you were to go out into the bush, out into the wild, you would find orangutan, gorilla, giraffe, hippopotamus. You would find enormous animals that would never eat anything besides plants. They knew the natural law of their being was to be a plant eater. And the natural law of our being is to be a plant eater. So in a compassionate way, as I was in front of the Whole Foods, trust building, listening, and observing, I said, perhaps your stomach, and her stomach was very large. It was a size for sure of a pregnant belly. I said, perhaps that's storage of not only hormones, but fear. Perhaps the systems that you have been embracing and rotely operating under have everything to do with why you're afraid. Perhaps if you did get the flu and you allowed yourself a cleansing opportunity, you would be able to shed these pounds of pain, fear, and pain. So a shaman or a medicine woman works with mind-body, FKA, formerly known as psychosomatics, well-documented, empirical. This is not alternative medicine. This is not fluff. And we're being very present with the person. We're honoring them. We're using integrity and respect. We're waiting to speak until they have spoken and made their share. When it was time to go, and she was waiting for someone, and I was waiting for someone, and she went to go in the store, she said, "Wait, how do I find you again?" And I said, naturallywithkaren.com. I said, "I just taught raw vegan gluten-free cheesecake here." She said, "Oh my gosh, I love cheesecake." She goes, "That's probably why I have this belly." And I said, but you can still have cheesecake. You can still have all of these things. You don't have to feel like I did back in the 1980s. Like, what am I going to live on? A bag of mini carrots? That doesn't sound really fun. I mean, to be that thin, you must be really suffering. I'm here to tell you that I eat great. I eat a lot of food. And I post a lot of what I make on various social media. You can find some of what I make on Instagram at Naturally with Karen. You can find it on Facebook. Because I've had over 32 years to really develop what I call a food rhythm. And if you want to know more about Mind Body, I have a course out, Crucial Keys to Unlocking Disease. I have another one which I'm launching, which deals with the mind, body, emotional, and spiritual components of thyroid disease, which are not found anywhere. This is medicine that I have taken for 32 years, incorporated and worked with people so that I learn how it works with people, not just in my own mind, but with them on a day-to-day basis, real life. Not academic, not religious, not political, not institutional, real life. And I'm bringing it for you, and I'm bringing it for you to help you so that you will pay far less than what you'd pay any of the coaches even for an hour session. I want you to have these tools, and you'll be able to find I'm going to have more and more of them. And I'm also going to bring you these free YouTube videos and the webinars that are on my site. Fear, being afraid, will drive you into rote behavior. It's like the horse with the blinders on. The horse can only see this much. We don't see the entire vista. I want you to have the truth, and the truth is what I'm going to continue to bring for you. You don't need all the psychological, Western allopathic medical, pharmaceutical drugs that you have for so long called your medicine, your medication. You've got to go fill your medication. It's a pre-script ion. It will deliver predictable results for your blood testing. There are rare instances, less than 5% of the time, that we need a drug because of the mess we find ourselves in. But for, since I used to work in the law, the but for clause, but for the biologic inserts in the field today, you would not need these medications, which are drugs. And I'm going to continue to bring you the truth so you have that. I am a living embodiment of my way of life, my food rhythm, the medicine I have brought for people for over 30 years. I also have an academic background, but I stopped. I never wanted to become a medical doctor or someone who spent their life in academia. I got what I needed to get, and I'll continue to dip in and get what I get, but I'm not seeking the paper. I'm not in it just for the money. I'm not in it to become a celebrity. I want you to have the truth. The truth will set you free. Knowledge is power. Health is wealth.